And this vast and growing Bongino army fall prey to this psyop by the left, because that's exactly what it is. Don't you dare politicize these. Oh, no. You have school children murdered in school shootings, and 10 seconds later, if you're a farmer in the eastern portion of Ohio that owns a firearm, you're all of a sudden a serial killer. Now we have a catastrophe, an apocalyptic scenario on the West Coast in California, unquestionably exacerbated by government, which sucks at every single thing it does, all the time, every time. And you expect us to sit here and blame it on climate change. We're not going to do it. We're not doing it. I'm not going to let you do it either. Not that you would. It's not happening. Cover that. Also, Donald Trump's at Jimmy Carter's funeral service today. Quick comment on that at the beginning. The Democrats right now and their media allies just floundering everywhere about the catastrophe they caused. Folks, stop giving your money to woke companies. Go with Blackout Coffee. Visit blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino for 20% off your first order. The official coffee of the Bongino Army. Check it out. Today's show also brought to you by America's only Christian conservative wireless provider, Patriot Mobile. We may have won the election, but the fight to restore this great nation is only beginning. Now's the time to take a stand. Use Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile offers a way to vote with your wallet without compromising on quality or convenience. Patriot Mobile isn't just about providing exceptional cell phone service. It's a call to action to defend our rights and freedoms. With Patriot Mobile, you get outstanding nationwide coverage because they operate on all three major networks. If you have cell phone service today, you can get cell phone service with Patriot Mobile with a coverage guarantee. Every dollar you spend with Patriot Mobile supports a company that believes in the First and Second Amendments, the sanctity of life, and our veterans and first responders. Switching's easy. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. Their 100% U.S.-based customer service team will help you find the perfect plan. Right now, go to patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 972-PATRIOT and get a free month of services with promo code Dan. Switch to Patriot Mobile today and defend freedom with every call and text you make. Visit patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 972-PATRIOT. All right, fellas, big show today. A lot to talk about. Let's go. Ring that bell. I want to show you this first. Little video. Donald Trump is at the funeral service for Jimmy Carter today. You know, I wonder what he must be thinking I mean, this really shows you how decent of a guy Donald Trump is. He's sitting here, chatting with Obama and he's sitting with a group of people, Kamala Harris, Doug Emhoff, the Bushes, everyone else, people who either stood by and did nothing or people who directly attacked him with weaponized government. Now, you may say to yourself, well, why is he being nice? The answer is because that's who Donald Trump is. All these left-wing, bullshit arguments. Oh my gosh, Donald Trump's a Nazi, he's evil, he's a demon. You may not like the fact that he does, but he's a rather magnanimous guy. He sits there and he knows he's at a funeral. He knows it's not the right time. So what does he do? He makes small talk with these people. Again, you may not like it. I'm just telling you, the arguments that this guy is some evil, out-of-control demon are ridiculous. Nearly every single person in this picture, you see it? You got Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, you got the Bushies, you got Pence, you got Barack Obama, the founder of the feast, you got Kamala Harris. Nearly every single one of these people has partaken in an effort to corrupt government, to unethically, illegally, immorally, in an evil manner, attack Donald Trump. And what does he do? He goes and pays respects to one of the most liberal presidents of all time. It's a guy's funeral. I'm going to pass today on any criticisms. My choice. You do whatever you want. We'll cover the Carter presidency, maybe in some more detail another day. Because there are some things that came out of that weren't awful, the deregulatory stuff, and there were other things that were beyond awful, including the diminishment of the United States on the national stage, like you're seeing now, and inflation. What are you talking about, Joe Biden? No, I'm talking about Jimmy Carter. But they do there's a lot in common. But we'll talk about that another day. It's a funeral today, and I refuse to act like leftists do. Do not fall for the psyop, folks. You have a massive failure of the left-wing model of big government right now going on right in front of your very eyes. And the left is desperate to get you to shut up about it. Now, I want to be absolutely clear. If these catastrophic apocalyptic fires happened in Texas, Florida, or Mississippi, there would be ringing condemnation from every piece of scum in the media calling for public executions of governors, state, local mayors, officials, county commissioners, and anyone else involved. But because Democrat liberal commies run California, Gee, can we go a little bit out of order? Can you pull that Politico tweet up? What do you get? You get no condemnation of Democrats at all, and you get a bunch of Republicans pounce stories. Republicans unleash on, never about the actual failures. Look at this. Politico. Republicans are blaming Dem policies for the catastrophic wildfires tearing through Los Angeles. Republicans pounce. Republicans unleash. Republicans unload. Notice how whenever Democrats F something up, which is every single time because government sucks, it has no incentive to ever do anything right. It steals your money at the end of a barrel of a gun. There is nothing you can do about it. And whether government sucks or not, you never get a refund. It doesn't matter. Government never goes out of business. There's no pressure for it to go out of business. The media protects them from any bad press. Imagine being a restaurant that food poisons people every night and some review site like a Yelp or whatever deletes every negative review. That's the media. It's the best analogy I can ever give you. That's the media to the business of government. It has no incentive to not suck. People are dead. The damage in Los Angeles and some of the surrounding areas is going to be so catastrophic when this is over, despite repeated warnings, that the fact that to this day, a lot, but not all, some media people are even coming around, you'll see what I mean in a minute, are still protecting these idiots. Meanwhile, if this was Ron DeSantis, I'm telling you they'd be called for public executions right now. It's absolutely disgusting. And then you got this loser in the White House who, again, did nothing about this. California is a state in the United States. Joe Biden's president of the United States. Joe Biden could have asked questions about this like Donald Trump did, fire management. It is still a big state. California is kind of important to the union. What Joe Biden do? Nothing. But he flew out there yesterday. And here is Joe Biden doing what Joe Biden does. How many times have I told you this, folks in the chat? How many times have I reminded you Joe Biden is what? Folks, I'm telling you, I know this from damn good sources. Trust me on this. I've always been candid about my sources, okay? Joe Biden is a sociopath. I'm telling you, he's a sociopath. He sees no consequence to his actions whatsoever. Everything is about Joe Biden, enriching Joe Biden, and to everyone else, you get the double-barrel middle finger. Here he is out there in California in one of the biggest catastrophes you're going to see in modern times in Los Angeles. And what does he decide to do? Announce ceremoniously and in a celebratory manner that he's a great-grandfather. Joe, can I just be sure? Nobody gives a shit, bro. Nobody cares. Their house just burned down. What do you want to do? A freaking gender reveal? Look, we popped a balloon. It's blue. What? Nobody cares, bro. Watch this.
Good news is I'm a great-grandfather as of today. I have a granddaughter. And I'm a baby girl, a baby boy.
That's a great point he just made. He always does this. I don't want to make it personal, given that all your houses just burned down, every childhood memory, all of your memorabilia, photos, your baseball card collection, the mom's jewelry you passed down, your engagement ring, your will and testament, your legal documents, your business records, all of your... It's time for an announcement. Let's do a gender reveal. Boom, balloon pop. It's a boy. Nobody gives a shit, bro. Nobody cares. No, I mean nobody. Technically, that could be considered a hyperbolic statement. You're exaggerating. No. I don't even intend it as such. Nobody cares in that area about you being a great-grandfather. You going to jump in the shower again? You slob? That's who this guy is. He's a sociopath. He can't get out of office soon enough. Less than 2 weeks to go. Finally, at least one member of the media, this is a Sky News reporter, has decided to do some journalism and stop with the climate change, really? That's funny. We thought it was the lack of water management and a bunch of dry brush in a fire-prone area. I don't know. Call me crazy. I'll be crazy. Here's the mayor of Los Angeles, which, fellas, you hear she made it back to L.A.? Yes. Finally, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, another commie, she made it back. She was in Africa. What was she doing in Africa and Ghana? Who the hell knows? Who cares? She's taking a trip, need a little vacation. I mean, she's been mayor for so long. Dan, she was just exactly. She's in Ghana? Yeah, Ghana. But LA's burning. Exactly. So she finally makes it back to her burning down city. She's like Nero. Surprised she didn't come off fiddling off the plane. Here is a Sky News reporter finally doing a little bit of homework. And guys, wouldn't you agree? You've seen the clip. Producer Jimmy, too. At least she gives some very detailed answers as to where she was, why she stole money from the fire department, why there's been no fire management stuff. The answers, wouldn't you agree, guys, were very thorough. And she put to rest any allegations of mismanagement on her part. Check out these incredibly fine answers. Check this out.
Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today?
Can you back up, please? Appreciate it.
Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today? Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position? Madam Mayor, have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today who are dealing with this disaster? No apology for them? Do you think you should have been visiting Ghana while this was unfolding back home?
Now, I know what you're thinking. If you were watching live on Rumble at 11 a.m. Eastern, you saw the video. But if you're watching audio on demand later on, say, Apple or Spotify, you're thinking, why did Guy, Justin, or Michael mess with the clip and edit out the mayor's responses? You said they were wonderful. They didn't, folks. There are no responses. That is the audio. She sits there, and I encourage you to watch the video because it's even worse. And as Justin, we're watching this all day. We watch them together. The show's live, so, it's not edited. We don't, cut the things in later. Justin's like, at least move your mouth and pretend you're going to answer something and you're thinking about something. She's sitting there, in stunned disbelief that anyone's asking her a question about her city birthday. How dare you? I am the mayor of Los Angeles. It's not my problem that the damn city's burning to the ground. And then you see how she storms down the jetway there, and that poor lady with the thing on her nose, she nearly knocks that lady over. Get out of my way. We got to get away from this Sky News guy. Listen, I don't know you, Sky News guy. I don't know if you're a liberal or whatever. I don't really care. But you may be the first guy to ever ask questions. Look at this. Look, watch this lady. She's got a little bandage on her nose. This lady, they can't bump this lady. Okay, let's get away from this guy quick. Here we go. Here's lady. Oh, get out of the way, lady. Beat it. Yeah, push it. Practically, if there was a door there, they'd push her right through it. They're like, get away from this guy, quick. You never seen Karen Bass move so fast. Look at her. She's getting a good hamstring workout. Oh, move fast. Is that an incline? Maybe get some calf work in, too. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump was right again about this. But because the media can't get their heads out of their ass and cover Donald Trump fairly, and they're so focused on the emotions of hating Donald Trump, not the actual problems Donald Trump brings up, hey, we've got an inflation problem, right? Nazi. Hey, that thing in California, you'd never believe it. They're diverting a bunch of water from where it's needed. Water's running dry in certain areas of California. The farms have been complaining about it forever. You've got a dry fire problem in Los Angeles. Santa Ana winds. Those are brand new, by the way. Did you guys know about that? It's the first time it's ever happened, the Santa Ana winds. It's a joke. I've never heard of those before. I'm not even a meteorologist. I've heard of the Santa Ana winds. I don't even live on the West Coast. I live in Florida. I live in Stewart. We don't have the Stewart Anna wins. I don't know what, even I know what they are. It's wind. And you think wind is good for stopping fires? You think? Matter of fact, there's an expression, you know what it's called, guys? They call it fanning the flames. You ever hear of it? Fanning the flame. Of course, because they can't get their heads out of their ass. When Donald Trump brings up a problem, he's a Nazi, fascist, homophobe, transphobe. Instead of actually saying, hey, is that a real problem? Maybe we can fix it before people's lives are lit up in flames. Here is Donald Trump a while ago on the Joe Rogan show before the election saying, you know, California's got a real water problem, you know, fires, farms, all this stuff. Maybe we should look into that. The media was like, guy's definitely a Nazi. Check this out.
You know, in Los Angeles, you can't get proper amounts of water.
Right.
And it's unbelievably expensive. And you might have a house in Beverly Hills, and they're actually thinking about rationing water. Could you believe it?
I can believe
and
it.
I was in the farm court country with some of the congressmen. We're driving up a highway, and I say, how come all this land is so barren? It's farmland, and it looked terrible. It was just brown and bad. I said, but there's always that little corner that's so green and beautiful. They said, we have no water. I said, do you have a drought? No, we don't have a drought. I said, why don't you have no water? Because the water isn't allowed to flow down. It's got a natural flow from Canada all the way up north of water, more water than they could ever use. And in order to protect a tiny little fish, the water up north gets routed into the Pacific Ocean. Millions and millions of gallons of water gets poured.
Of course, Donald Trump came out yesterday again. He was up on Capitol Hill and brought up the fact that protecting the smelt, if you're asking, what the fuck is the smelt? It's this little fish he's talking about. And Justin just said it right. The media reports the following. Donald Trump hates fish. He really can't stand. He wants all the fish dead. Grouper, trout, all of them. Kill them damn fish. He's a Nazi, homicidal, fish Holocaust guy. He wants fish dead. Instead of saying, you know what? That crazy guy is actually not so crazy because what he just said was going to happen with the barren land and the water problems resulted in a catastrophe where now 5 people are dead, and that's going to grow, by the way, and basically significant portions of Los Angeles were entirely wiped out. By the way, did you notice how the MAGA crowd, and I want to applaud you guys. I mean this. Again, a hefty dose of sarcasm is part of the show, but not this segment. I want to genuinely applaud you for not falling into the trap these lunatic, evil liberals do, that when there's some shooting in a red state, they're like, look, you deserve that, evil gun owners. Nobody deserves this. I don't care who the hell you voted for. I've been through a house fire. It is not about me. I'm not trying to do the Joe Biden on you. I'm just telling you it is one of the most awful things you will ever go through in your life. Nobody deserves that. We live in a republic. You're free to vote for who you want. Unfortunately, those votes have consequences. Bureaucratic mismanagement is not a Democrat problem. It is a Democrat and Republican problem. However, bureaucratic mismanagement is a bigger problem with Democrats for a very simple, easy to define, common sense, Occam's razor reason. If government bureaucracies can't work because there's no incentive for them to work because they steal your money and you can't fire them, you can't. The media protects them. Then Democrats, which prefer bigger bureaucracies and bigger government, are going to have bigger problems. When I was a young Secret Service agent, you know what my boss told me about big criminal cases we used to work? He'd say, I'm going to warn you, big cases, big problems. Little cases, little problems. Big government, big problems. Littler government, littler problems. I'm not telling you Republicans are going to fix all your problems. We screw up a lot of crap ourselves. I'm simply telling you, you keep picking the Democrats that prefer bigger government, and your problems are going to continue to get bigger, and they don't get any bigger than your house burning down and your neighborhood. Look at this, by the way, this little compilation. Running out of water, fire hydrants in Los Angeles. These headlines. I saw this on Mike Cernovich's account. He's a California resident. He's been covering this. How the hell do you run out of water? Do you understand a fire hydrant exists for one reason? It has no other purpose than to distribute water for a fire. That's why it's called a fire hydrant, not a milk hydrant. It's there to stop fires. It only has one purpose. They can't even figure out how to get water from a fire hydrant. And you continue to support these idiots? This isn't the time to talk. Bullshit! It is the time to talk about it. Before your house and neighborhood burns down next. It's a fire hydrant. You can't even figure out how to get water out of a fire hydrant. That's how stupid government is. You know what government's become? A suggestion of goodwill. Government's a four-way stop sign. No one actually stops at it because you think the other guy, that's government. They think someone else will fix it. So it's just a suggestion they're going to do things, right? No one stops at a four-way stop. They don't. They roll through it. The other guy will stop. That's what government is. One big freaking four-way stop sign. Well, don't worry. Someone else will stop. I don't need to do it. My job's safe.
Fire hydrants are like gun-free zone signs for fires.
Right. That's how well they work. Right. Justin said it right. The fire hydrants in LA are like gun-free zone signs. Again, they're suggestions of a solution. See, we'll fix you during a fire, except there's no actual water in it. Yeah, just like the gun-free zone sign. This is unbelievable. I got to take a quick break here, lower my blood pressure a bit. I got some more video coming, including, again, back to serious time. The destruction is just unbelievably profound. Folks, I've been using the Bone Charge infrared sauna blanket, and Paula's been using the red light face mask. I got to tell you, I've been using it too. It helps me fall asleep at night ever since they sent to me. Can't recommend them highly enough. This is a really great company. I just bought some more blue light glasses for upstairs. I kept forgetting mine downstairs. I first turned to the sauna blanket a while ago because of the power of sauna. I encourage you to look it up. It's incredible. It helps me sleep at night as my body tries to cool down. It's great for muscle recovery, detoxification. It's easy to use, the Bone Charge sauna blanket. Just wrap yourself up and let the infrared heat work its magic. I've noticed an absolutely incredible difference with my sleep and my recovery from my workouts, especially at age 50. Got to use every life hack possible. Paula uses the red light face mask. It's incredibly impressive. She's been using it to help improve her skin's texture and reduce inflammation. Look at her pictures on my Instagram. You'll see for yourself. It's like having a mini spa treatment right at home whenever you want it. If you're thinking of trying them out, now's the time. Head on over to bonecharge.com/Bongino, BONCHARGE, and use the code Bongino at checkout to get 15% off. They have a ton of products over there, not just the red light face mask and the sauna blanket, blue light glasses. If you're into life hacks and positive life impacts, this is the site to go to improve your wellness routine. You're going to love this site. Go today. Use code Bongino. You'll save 15% at bonecharge.com/Bongino. BONCHARGE, bonecharge.com/Bongino. Save 15%. These statements and products have not been evaluated by the FDA. They're not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition. Check them out. Life hacks. Stay alive. Stay frosty. It's the only way to do it. Folks, I want you to take a look at this. This is a New York Times headline, too. This has been a problem forever. But because the New York Times and others have insisted on insulating Democrats from criticism and wiping out any negative like Yelp reviews from the bad restaurant, right? This is why you get the continued mis- and malperformance of government every single time. Here's the New York Times. In California, controlled fires can save homes. Why aren't more happening? The answer to the New York Times is because you've been promoting a green agenda forever and empowering these green groups that have stopped California and California politicians from controlled fires that would have saved LA from this disaster. That's why. How about you guys look in the mirror once in a while? It's not that government doesn't help you, folks. I can't say this enough. The point I'm going to make again later on the radio show. It's not that if there's one thing I could hammer through to liberals out there who I would say who are not our friends, but I wish could wake you up, is that it's not that your suggestion that government's a good thing is wrong. It's not that government's not good. There's a chair over there. The chair's not good or bad. It's a chair. But if I take the chair and smash you over the head with it, it becomes a weapon for evil. That's government. It's not that it's not good. It's that it's used for evil things. Environmental groups know they can donate to Democrat politicians that'll stop fire people who know what they need to do to control these fires from doing what they do until a fire breaks out and basically nukes the whole city. Yeah. Here, you want to see this destruction, folks? This is what bad, awful, incredibly awful governance does. You look at this before and after. It says some kind of Google Maps or whatever, Apple Maps, Street View. Look at this. Just keep this playing. This is Jonathan Vigliotti, hat tip there. Look at this after. By the way, this is all over LA. You think this is just one block? This is everywhere. We have a colleague of ours, I'm not going to say her name or anything, but she's a good friend who's going through this right now. If her house, she doesn't even know if her house is going to survive. Folks, this is all over Los Angeles. And of course, they're lying. They're lying all the time, and they're lying about everything. And you guys, I'm sorry, I keep going out of order, but you see that David Muir. Look at these media losers, by the way. You got this guy, David Muir, David Moore. I don't know what the hell his name is. Check out this guy. He's on the scene. I want you to watch this clip. These people are more concerned about looking like they're actually helping than actually covering the fact that maybe it's their push for green environmental suicide that has led to a lot of stuff. I want you to pay very close attention to the end of this. This guy's got clothespins on the back of his jacket, so he's got a nice svelte look with his fire jacket on, so he looks like he's solving problems instead of creating them. Watch this.
Fires are now burning at this hour. We are in what's called Palisades Village right here. This is the town center of sorts, where there's normally shopping, a place to eat. Tonight, as you can see here behind me, it's been completely wiped away. There are still flames burning from multiple buildings here and smoke.
Got to look all tailored in that fake fire jacket as you look like you're solving a problem you guys created. You guys see that video? You can actually see it. If you missed it, if you're listening on Apple and Spotify, just watch the video. You don't have to watch the podcast. You can watch it on X. You'll see. Watch him turn. Oh, look, he's got the clothespins there. Make sure you look all svelte. In case you think the media coverage of this couldn't get any worse and there'll be an ounce of self-reflection here, you would be absolutely wrong. You've got firefighters on the ground, by the way, messaging me left and right. We're running out of water. We don't have enough people. The fire hydrants weren't tested because the budget was cut while they were spending money on DEI. You would think the media would find that story interesting. Nah. Here's a local news report. If you have not seen this, this may be one of these. This is the one I was talking about. This is the title of today's show. You want to see a guy get wrecked on live television. This guy should be fired immediately. He's like, there's no evidence firefighters are running out of water. Then he cuts to the scene of the reporter who must not have heard that. And she has a slightly different take on events. Check this out.
This is basic stuff. This isn't high science here. And it's all about leadership and management that we're seeing a failure of. And all of these residents are paying the ultimate price for that.
Despite what you have heard from Caruso, no firefighters have told us that they are running out of water.
And let's go out to Gigi Graciette. She is live in Pacific Palisades. I know your signal's not the best, but Gigi, what can you tell us?
Well, firefighters have told me they have no water on this block, and you may be able to make out the ember storm that we're in the middle of right now.
I can't with these people. Just for the record, no firefighters have told us they're running out of water. Let's go to Gigi on the scene. Gigi, what do you got for us? I know the signal's like great. A bunch of firefighters just told me they're running out of water. Did Gigi not hear what just happened? Maybe that's why the signal wasn't so good. You know what's going on there, right? Let me give you a little background on what happened. Rick Caruso, the guy that you heard talking in the beginning, rewind it and you'll hear it again. Hit the back button and you'll hear it again. Rick Caruso ran against the dreadful mayor, Karen Bass, who couldn't answer a question. You just heard the LA mayor who was in Ghana. Caruso was a little more of a sane Dem, was a lot more of a sane Dem. I think he was a former Republican, but ran as kind of a sane, non-crazy Democrat. So the media people who are clearly lefties, and a lot of them, are trying to make Rick Caruso look stupid. That's who was commenting at the beginning of his clip. For the record, there's no evidence. Actually, there is a record right now coming up with your reporter on the scene who's going to tell you, not so much. Again, it's not just that government and the media don't help you. It's that your life is being actively effed up by these people. They are the ones screwing it up. The problem in your life, 90% of the time, when you're paying all your tax dollars to support these losers, is the government making a problem worse. Folks, there's less than 2 weeks until Donald Trump is sworn in. It really can't come soon enough. You would be surprised the damage Joe Biden has managed to do just since Election Day between offshore drilling, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, all kinds of new red tape and regulations, appliance regulations. The destruction Joe Biden has wrought is just endless. But there's some good news coming. I got a little supercut coming up for you next. I can't wait to have this back. Because you know I'm sick of media people. We just got done with that. You'll see what I mean coming up next. Hey, be awake, not woke. Start your day with the official coffee of the Bongino Army, Blackout Coffee. By the way, they have a ready-to-drink. It's called Skip the Brew, which is totally badass. Justin absolutely loves it. He tears this stuff up. The Skip the Brew is amazing. Give it a shot. This ready-to-drink is the best one out there. We've seen a lot of it. He says he can vouch. It's amazing. Blackout Coffee is the official coffee of the show. Why? Because they're premium grade coffee beans. They ship within 48 hours of roasting. The flavor is absolutely incredible. It is bold coffee, but never bitter. They have flavors that are incredible. Cinnamon French toast, blueberry crumble, dark chocolate. It's my favorite coffee. I have about 3-4 cups a day. I enjoy it. They're the real deal. Stop drinking that corporate woke junk coffee. Buy from a company that loves America, but more importantly, love America. They produce a good product too. I wouldn't ask you to, hey, saying you love America is great. We love that. We should all love America. But you got to produce a great product. Blackout Coffee's it. It's blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino. Use coupon code Bongino for 20% off your first order. Blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino. Coupon code Bongino. Make the switch to Blackout Coffee. You're going to love it. Now, last sponsor today before we get back to the show and this super cut that's going to put a smile on your face. Folks, Tax Network USA. You just saw it. The privilege, they get their tax pardons, while hardworking Americans don't. The IRS just stepped up enforcement. If you owe back taxes or have unfiled returns, don't wait for the IRS letter to act. Waiting to get caught could make you look like a tax evader. It's probably not going to end well. So get ahead of this. It's a smart move, but I urge you to never contact the IRS alone. Turn it over to Tax Network USA. Why? Because not all tax resolution companies are the same. Tax Network USA has a strong relationship with the IRS, and they have a preferred direct line to the IRS. Why is that important to you? Because they know which agents to deal with and which to avoid. And third, their genius strategies are designed to help quickly settle your tax problems in your favor, whether you owe $10,000 or $10 million. Their attorneys and negotiators have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt. Tax Network USA. Call them and talk with one of their strategists. It's free. Stop looking over your shoulder and put your IRS troubles behind you today. Call 1-800-958-1000. That's 1-800-958-1000. Or visit TN, short for Tax Network, TNUSA.com, TNUSA.com/Dan, TNUSA.com/Dan. Again, that's TNUSA.com/Dan. Visit today. Thanks, Tax Network. We appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, less than 2 weeks to the return of Donald Trump, where the media will have to deal with a non-compliant president that doesn't go along with their gaslighting anymore. This is going to be glorious. I saw this on Defiant L's, another great X account. This video is fantastic. Check this out. This is about a little over a minute of Donald Trump and the media in the last term. I can't wait to have this back. It'll put a smile on your face on a Thursday. Check this out.
Why do you keep calling this the Chinese virus?
Because it comes from China.
Racist.
It's not racist at all. No, not at all. It comes from China.
Mr. President, can you just respond to Kamala Harris's campaign attacking you for being in this town because they say there were white supremacists?
Who was here in 2021? Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
You have very low unemployment rate in the U.S. and we have a very high unemployment rate in France. How come? What's the recipe for?
Well, maybe we have a better president than you do.
Pew Research says that there are, for immigrants on the whole,
Come on, try getting it out. Try getting it out.
I'll get it out.
I mean, I don't know if you're going to put this on television, but you don't even know what you're talking about. Try getting it out. Go ahead. Are you talking to me?
Yeah, it was just a follow-up of what I just asked you, sir.
You ready? We have the president of Finland. Ask him a question.
I have one for him. I just wanted to follow up on the one that I asked.
Did you hear
what
me?
Did you want?
Did you hear me?
Yes,
ask him a question.
I will, but
I've given you a long answer. Ask this gentleman a question. Don't be rude. Okay, question? Yeah, go ahead. Sure. She's shocked that I picked her.
No.
She's like in a state of shock.
I'm not thinking, Mr.
That's
President.
okay. I know you're not thinking. You never do.
That video actually doesn't end there. It goes on for about another 20 seconds. I would have played it, but I had to end with that one because that's Trump. That's okay. I wasn't thinking you never do. We get that. This cannot come soon enough. By the way, an action item for you, because the Trump reformation of the Republican Party has not ended, folks. Our friend Eric Daughtry on X, Eric L. Daw, good account to follow, notes that Nevada is on the verge of flipping red under the latest party registration numbers. Democrats have lost more votes over the last month. Here's the Republican registration advantage. Plus 1,688, Democrats minus 20. The Democrat lead in the state is down to 4,167. A very small number for the GOP to overcome. If it continues, it'll happen soon. Folks, what I'm getting at here is I am an action-oriented guy. I do not get emotional. I'm passionate, not emotional. Believe it or not, those are not the same thing, okay? I am a numbers guy. We have a problem. What's the problem? In states like Nevada and Pennsylvania, we still have a voter registration advantage to overcome where the Democrats are beating us. How do we fix that problem? Very simple. We register more Republicans. What does that mean for you? Action item and request. Dan, the election just ended. We need to take a break. I know you're not saying that, but some people are. No, we don't. There's no break time. I told you take a week, celebrate. That week's over. It's time to get back to work. Thanks to people like Scott Pressler, Sean Parnell, and others out there and activists, we are still out there registering. From now until the midterms, I'm going to institute another 10, 10, and 10 rule. 10 phone calls, 10 emails, 10 social media posts to the voter registration site in your page. All you have 2 years to do it so that everybody understands if they're not registered, where they can go to register. And I'm guessing if you're a listener to my show, the people you're going to send that to are going to be Republicans. You can't tell them how to register, but you can certainly show them how. We can't stop. We're an action-oriented party. Let the Democrats focus on their bumper stickers. Coexistence, tolerance, whatever, bro. You focus on all that bullshit. We'll focus on action items and getting things done. Don't get emotional. We are transactional and we are outcome-oriented, and that's how we're going to fix this place because there's nowhere else to go. Folks, we have to save this country from the liberal menace. This Los Angeles fire story is not a local story. Sure it is. It's Los Angeles. Bullshit. It is not a local story. The failures of government to not only not be good, but to stop being demonic are everywhere where government metastasizes, whether under Democrats or Republicans. But the liberal menace is real. This country will collapse under the weight of everything they're prescribing. Confiscatory taxes, open borders, defunding the police. We cannot possibly survive. I know it fits the stereotype. I don't care. I've mentioned it a lot. I've become fascinated with the collapse of the Roman Empire, just like every single TikTok meme out there. And when you watch the collapse of the Roman Empire at the end, Commodus and the end of the Pax Romana at the end, what you'll see is parochial interest took over. Everybody was like, I got mines, man. That was the end. We have a chance to stop that. We don't have to repeat the mistakes of history. And the mistakes of history are being exacerbated by the liberal menace. We can't survive with open borders. It's not possible. Milton Friedman spoke about it from an economic perspective. Forget the national security for a second. You cannot have open borders and a welfare state. You will go mathematically bankrupt. But there's a national security problem that's an obvious one. You let in 12 million people, even if a small chunk are terrorists, that's a whole lot of terrorists. Here's our incoming national security advisor, Congressman Mike Walls, the incoming NSA, talking about some pretty incredible stats about how many people are in this country from suspect places around the world. The numbers aren't small. Check this out.
In Jim Jordan's report, 2,100 Afghans, 33,000 Chinese, 541 Iranians, 520 Syrians, over 3,100 Uzbeks, and we know the ISIS smuggling ring has sent over 400 people in, 8 of whom were rolled up in 3 different cities, plotting and planning an attack on the eve of the Pulse nightclub hit. You're right, we're going to get hit. We're all watching it happen in real time, and the blood is on Biden's hands, is on Harris's hands, and is on Mayorkas's hands.
And please save this country from the liberal menace. It is them and only them. Again, I'm not telling you Republicans are the solution to all your problems. The cause of your problems right now in the public safety space. We have a problem. Forget the emotions. The problem is people who want to kill us, we call terrorists, are in the United States. How did they get here? They didn't fly in. A lot of them flew to other countries and crossed the border illegally. How do we solve that problem? We have to start deporting people, and a lot of them. If you're not here legally, you're probably a terrorist. Not every single person who crosses the border is a terrorist. However, terrorists mostly get here by crossing the border illegally. Save the country, please, from the liberal menace. It is real. Want to hear how bad these people are? You got the fires, you got the open borders, the inflation. This was a stunning Wall Street Journal article I've been holding on to for a couple of weeks now. It's not just that liberals don't help. It's that they actively kick you in the nuts. So let's say we got a problem, and this problem needs to be focused on. Let's just throw a problem out there. Homelessness, problem, right? You live in communities. You want homeless people walking around your community? You want them to have homes or a shelter. You don't want them walking around your community. Homeless people, some of them have psychopathological issues. Some of them have drug problems. Some of them may be homeless for other reasons, for no fault of their own. Maybe a single mom sleeping in her car. Can we all agree, liberal, conservative, communist, doesn't matter, Tea Party member, homelessness is a problem? Instead of, again, incorporating a growing economy and some free market solutions, maybe fostering a job environment where people can get jobs, the government says, don't worry, we'll fix homelessness. You want to hear the number? Put this Wall Street Journal article up. HUD, Housing and Urban Development, which is a federal government bureaucracy that has totally failed, spends an astonishing $72 billion a year on affordable housing. Progressive states spend billions more. California alone spent $24 billion to reduce homelessness in the last 5 years. There's a comma to that sentence. Shockingly, there are more homeless. Can you imagine the federal government in California spent close to $100 billion to reduce homelessness and got more homeless people? This is what I'm talking about by the difference between misfeasance and malfeasance. Misfeasance is just not doing the right thing. Malfeasance is intentionally doing the wrong thing. Do you think the Wall Street Journal are the only people that know this? You think the people at HUD and in California don't know they spent $100 billion to create more homeless? Why do they keep spending more? Because it's a racket. Follow the money. A bunch of NGOs and other groups that donate to left-wing politicians and advocacy groups get money to create more homeless so they can profit off taking care of the homeless they created. It's a freaking racket, folks. Save yourself from the liberal menace. And for those of you out there going, well, Dan, the problem with government is that we just don't have enough money. We were starved of funds by the Trump tax cuts. Shut your soup cooler losers and please do one moment of research. If you are a loser and you need help, i.e. you're a liberal, that's what your boy Danny Botts is here for. Throw up that Statista thing. Statista, this is not a political site. It's called Statista because it's a statistics-based site. Here are the total receipts of the United States government you probably insist has been starved of money. You'll notice something fascinating. Let's just go back to the Trump era. 2016. The Donald Trump tax cuts definitely starved the government of money. Really? Fascinating. Government made $3.27 trillion in confiscating your money, 3.32 the year after, 3.33, 3.46, 3.42. It's now up to spending close to $7 trillion right now. So the government's not starved of anything. You're just starved of your money and freedom while the government creates more problems with your money. I'm sorry. That's the fact, Jack. You don't like it? Chew on those freaking apples, Good Will Hunting style. You may say to yourself, this is so obvious, Dan, what you're saying, that we are feeding the government our stolen money at the end of a barrel of a gun, this cancerous, rotting wart on the ass of humankind we call government, to create more problems in our lives, bad fire conditions, homeless people, an open border. We're paying people to create problems for us. That's what you're doing. So how does this continue to exist? How is it that these problems are in front of everybody's face and nobody sees it? The answer is because social media and the left-wing and the left-wing media websites and cable programs and broadcast news have insulated the left through gaslighting forever. So I promise you, many of these people are completely unaware they're on the wrong side of facts and data. They've been gaslit. They've been lied to often, lied to confidently, and isolated from the truth. Those are the 4 components of gaslighting, and the most important part is isolating people from the truth. That's why I told you, don't get too excited about the Facebook proclamation about opening it up to conservatives until we see action. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you an update. It's only been a couple days. I'm an action guy. Don't get lost in the emotions. My personal Facebook page is unquestionably changed. I don't know if you got this. Folks in the chat, have you seen this? Seriously, I need to know. I need your feedback. This is really important. If you go to your Facebook page, your personal page, and you go look up my page, the Dan Bongino, the verified page, I don't care. I don't want to make it about me. Look up Ben Shapiro, Mark Levin, whatever. It doesn't matter. If you start liking the posts on their page, I promise you are finally going to start seeing them more. Matter of fact, I like my own stuff. Obviously, it's my page, but I have a personal and a public page. On my personal page, I've been getting tons of Bongino Report stuff and Dan Bongino Show stuff just in the last couple of weeks. So I have definitely seen an algorithm change. If you haven't, please let me know. Not on, I go, no, fine. I'm not trying to, if you're there, you're there. If you're not, you're not. It totally makes sense. I'm not pushing anything on anyone. It's not my website. I'm just saying I use it to get information to persuadable people, and I think it's important. I've seen a significant change. It's only been a couple days. Matter of fact, I got a button the other day that says show more or show less of this. Of course, I hit show more. Folks, I say don't get too excited, however, because the war for free speech and against left-wing communist gaslighting and this alternate reality they live in, this war is not even close to over. Matter of fact, around the world, although in the United States it's slowly turning, it's like turning around a battleship. It's going to happen slow. Around the world, the problem is getting worse. Have you seen what's happening in the United Kingdom with people getting locked up for social media posts? No. Yes. Folks, I went to London last year, and I'm dead serious. I'm starting to wonder how I got out of there without getting locked up. Why? Did you commit a crime? Apparently I did, a thought crime. I went over there as a conservative. This is real. I want you to watch this exchange between Joe Rogan and Theo Von, 2 very popular podcasters on The Rogan Show, where they're both stunned that people in the UK that we used to think was some form of a parliamentary pseudo-democratic system is now turned completely tyrannical. They're stunned. People are getting locked up for thought crimes. Watch this.
I think it should be legal. I don't think you should have to tell your fucking name if you want to talk shit about something that's going on that affects your life or that affects your job or that affects your kid's school. You shouldn't be subject to fucking prosecution because you said something about the school board because you just felt like being an anonymous person saying they're a bunch of fat slobs and retards, and you wanted to say that, but you couldn't say that because then you would get in trouble with your kids would get in trouble and this and that.
Well, that's what's happening in England right now, isn't it?
It 100% is. It 100% is.
That's really happening?
Yes, it's really happening. You can't give people that much fucking control. You can't give people that much control over what offends them or what offends people, what you could say, what you can't say.
Can you imagine if they would come at the end of every episode, they'd be waiting outside of your...
Yeah, here's the thing, man. This is a new thing. This wasn't England 10 years ago, all right? This is a new thing, and it's a scary thing.
Folks, you understand why this is important? Well, what do you mean this? Speak specifically, precision matters. Why discussing the war on free speech around the globe on shows like Theo Von and Joe Rogan are important? Guys, ladies, you're here. This is a political show, right? Everybody gets that. You are into politics, civics, public problems, and fixing them. That's why you're on this show. The Rogan Show has people interested in everything. Life hacks, cold plunges, MMA, politics, religion. Rogan does everything. He just had a guy on about Jesus. I've been fascinated by some guy, Wesley Huff or something. I was just watching some of the clips. He talks about everything. There are people over there who don't understand that there are actually people in countries pretending to be some form of a democracy that are locking people up for thought crimes. Why is this an issue going forward outside of the obvious? We don't want people locked up for thought crimes because, ladies and gentlemen, there is a superpower out there right now. No, I'm not talking about the Avengers. I'm not talking about the X-Men. There is a superpower out there right now that is going to have the power to dictate the information environment going forward and track you down. That if it is conditioned to learn solely on liberal gaslighting, folks, you are about to live in a tyranny like you've never imagined in your life, and that thing is called AI. I don't want to make this about Rumble because I'm an investor there. I've disclosed that. However, there's a big, big debate going on with Rumble, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, AI, Google, and everyone else right now about how AI should learn. I want to show you what I mean. This is why this is so important, this censorship moving forward, as AI slowly but surely starts to take over critical components of our society. There's an article in the Wall Street Journal I can't recommend enough. It's called Russia's Artificial Intelligence is Smart Enough to Shut Up. This is why in the future, I want to talk about this story in kind of a positive light. This is why I believe the United States, if we can win this war on censorship, is conditioned in this new AI future to win the AI battle. And whoever wins the AI battle in the future is going to win the war. The war for economic supremacy, military supremacy. Russian and China's AI will never work as well as ours because they've taught it to lie. Here's what I mean. Put that clip up on the screen. They're talking about how Russia censors where its AI can get its information from so people don't go into a Russian Grok or ChatGPT and say, is Vladimir Putin a dictator? They can't give you the right answer. The answer is yes. So they know such technology, talking about AI, needs enormous amounts of information to work with and feed on. It'll generate content based on the information in ways its human handlers may never be able to predict. That's problematic for authoritarian systems that depend on limiting information and controlling how it's organized and interpreted. What does this have to do with things like Rumble and True Social? Folks, True Social and Rumble, millions upon millions of bits of information are loaded there every day. This show, your blog posts on truth, your thoughts on immigration. If AI in the United States is controlled by Democrats and they don't scrape sites like Rumble, it's public stuff, but I'm not talking about scraping your personal business records. I'm talking about a show like mine. It's public. AI can and should use it like anyone else. I'm putting it out there for the public. Here, it's yours. And it learns from leftist commies, you're never going to get an honest answer. And you're going to have the same problem the Russians and the Chinese are having right now. The information war is going on right now. That is why I'm so bullish on Rumble. Because AI companies, if they want to succeed and understand the political environment, are going to need to understand 50% of America, the MAGA Republican conservative movement. And you know where we are? We're on Rumble. We're not on YouTube. This is China's fatal flaw, folks. Their AI is going to starve as they lie to their own people. By the way, why didn't we do more about China? Why didn't we do more about China to intercept the China threat? We're now finding out they're embedded in our freaking infrastructure system, our water supply. This is a real threat. They're flying freaking drones and balloons around us. Why didn't we? Because I told you why we didn't do anything about China. Here's another Wall Street Journal article. Stephen Nelson reports for the New York Post that the National Archives has finally, amazing how this happened after the election. The National Archives has finally released photos showing then Vice President Biden meeting with two of Hunter Biden's Chinese government-linked business partners. What a coincidence, bro. That's so crazy. Again, proving that the president lied about not interacting with his family's foreign patrons. I'm going to throw a question out there you all should be asking. You guys in the chat know what it is. You know where I'm going with this, right? Did we let China infiltrate our infrastructure system with Trojans and malicious computer programs, fly spy balloons and drones, buy our farmland in the United States? Because Joe Biden let it happen, because China had the sword of Damocles over his head, like, hey, man, you don't want us talking about your business relationships. Is that just possible? Justin says probable. I'd happen to agree. I'll go up, but I'll say likely. Even more than likely. Don't tell me about Joe. Joe Biden was a good guy. Just Joe Biden is garbage. And he's always been garbage. And he sold this country out. And the damage this guy's done and the China fallout, we're not even close to getting to the bottom of. By the way, this is what I'm talking about. This is a tweet from Jerry Dunleavy covering an exhaustive Wall Street Journal report about how China has infiltrated our infrastructure system in the United States for years. I don't care what your feelings are about national security or otherwise where we should be or not. This story, I'm telling you from quality sources, is absolutely true. China hackers have gained the ability to shut down dozens of U.S. ports, power grids, and infrastructure targets at will. Folks, they don't even know how deeply China's burrowed into the system. That's how long they've been doing this. Why? Because Joe Biden's been sitting on his ass knowing China has the freaking sword of Damocles over his head because of all of his illicit business ties to China. The damage this guy's done in 4 years is absolutely astonishing. Astonishing. And it can't end soon enough. Folks, thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you give us a hand over at Rumble, we are really growing. Please download the Rumble app and give us a follow on the show. It is absolutely free to watch the show live. Rumble.com/Bongino. You say, I like that little handy thing. Click that subscribe button. So deeply appreciate it. And thank you for getting us back on the charts at Spotify and Apple. Means a lot to me. All you got to do is go to Apple Podcasts and Spotify, search the Dan Bongino Show, click that follow button. It helps us enormously. We deeply appreciate it. We spend a lot to reach people, but you guys help so much. That's all organic. Give us a follow there. I'll see you on the radio show here in a little bit and back here tomorrow at 11 a.m. See you then.
You just heard the Dan Bongino Show.